This is my review of The Promised Neverland, Chapter 151, The Ones to Win. And I think my favorite part of this entire chapter was the look of pure fear in the Queen's face when Zazie first attacked her, when she realized this is no ordinary human. I mean, this is the freaking Queen of the Demons. She has eaten thousands, millions of humans over her long reign as the most powerful, as the strongest, as the greatest of all times. And here she is afraid. She knows that she could very easily die against this beast. And I freaking love it! I mean, he does manage to make her bleed, which, old saying, you make a god bleed, the people will grow afraid. Yeah, her followers are certainly afraid of this guy right here. Then the other two show up to give their support, and we get a little flashback explaining why. Turns out demons aren't that great in long fights, based on Norman's horrific crimes against humanity and demonanity. Demonity? Demonity. Fun word. Norman realized that their regeneration, mutation, and strengthening, which very concerning line right there, uses up just so much strength that demons are good for a few minutes of fighting and that's it. So that's the whole reason they had Gielan go in and fight first, so he could wear down the queen quite literally and they could take her out. I mean, I always thought it was weird when I was reading last chapter, like, yeah, she's not looking too damaged. I'm not sure if you guys can win, but if she's running with a limited stamina meter here, yeah, I could definitely see them taking her out now. That's also the reason they shot at all the demon corpses to provide her any food so she can't recharge. Barbara even says that she can see her movements. I mean, she's still fast and terrifying and scary, but she's nowhere near as strong as she was when the fighting first started. In fact, Barbara and the other guy have been watching this battle from the roof the entire time. Somehow the demons failed to notice them. Just so they could observe the queen, get an idea of how she fought, how she moved, and the best way to counter those moves. And the queen's getting pretty pissed here. She's annoyed because they aren't giving her a chance to breathe. They aren't even coming in for a reckless attack. They're fighting her perfectly, so they don't give her a chance to take out one of them. And as she says, they're waiting for me to lose focus. And I think they might have a good chance of winning right here. It's interesting, though, they leave the attacking to Zazie. And we see a little picture of him back when he was in Lambda, and it's pretty freaking terrifying. I mean, they have this guy literally chained with multiple restraints to keep him in place, and even then he looks like he's ready to break free. So this guy is something else. I'm actually really curious to see what he looks like without his mask on right now. Or maybe it's more of an emotional thing where when he takes off his mask, he gets afraid and he can't fight anymore. I can see that. But this does actually make a lot more sense back when Norman first met with Gielan and his party. He just brought Zazie and we're like, well, that was stupid. He could have been eaten. No, he could not have. Even just with Zazie alone, I think they could have taken out the original Gielan, the pre-healed Gielan. I mean, that's just how freaking strong this guy actually is. And then the queen apparently teleports. I don't actually think this is teleportation. I think this was what Norman said earlier. It was strengthening. For brief moments, they were able to make themselves multiple times stronger. But she can't keep doing it because, she's already low on energy. And the only reason she did it here was so that she could eat Barbara, get her strength back up, and then do it again to kill the rest of them. However, I don't think this did too much damage to Barbara. I mean, later on, we see her smiling on the floor. And yeah, she was definitely, stabbed through the spine, but I'm not entirely sure what the process is they've been going through this whole time that made them stronger, that made them this. But I feel like regeneration would be a good attribute for your food to have. Like, imagine you're just cutting off a limb that regrowing after a day and then cutting it off again. Then it's like an infinite source of food. Obviously, you have to keep, providing human with human food, but that doesn't help the demon, so, We saw that with Adam. He got knocked back by Archduke Luvis, and he got back up pretty easily without barely even a scratch on him. So he could have shown some regeneration there, and while I'm not sure if this would affect anything, Barbara's been eating a lot of demon meats. And maybe some of those regeneration abilities, passed on her through consuming their flesh. That could certainly be something interesting. But yeah, the queen fails to eat her when Zazie throws his sword and cuts off her freaking arm. Though, unfortunately, this gets Zazie angry, which is concerning. Very, very concerning, because if they aren't, fighting properly, they're gonna die. This seemed to be exactly what the queen was waiting for, but even she was surprised by his movements. Though it was at this moment the queen realized she was effed. You can see her finger starting to decay, and any others in the room are starting to cough up blood and bleeding from their eyes. I mean, there's definitely something going wrong here, and they quickly realize it's poison. We then move out to the capital, which has gone to absolute and complete hell. Some, but apparently not all the demons, which is interesting. I'm kind of curious about how the poison was released for them. Were infected by a poison that literally induces forced degeneration. Basically, it turns them back into the mindless animals they were before they ate human meat. And this is a really great moment for Norman's game, because they actually weren't sure if this poison worked at all on the demons who ate the evil-blooded woman, because, she prevents them from generating entirely, so even if it just prevented her fingers from growing, that's going to give them a huge advantage and might ensure their victory, but a little concerning with how the chapter ended, with Zazie swinging at her and saying, "Die, you monster," or maybe that's her saying that to him, I'm honestly not sure. But yeah, that just ends with the shot of blood splatter, which could mean literally anything. Maybe the queen did get hit, but she's still alive. Maybe she managed to somehow pull a dagger or something and stab Zazie. Maybe they're both hits. I mean, I feel like if it had been the good ending where the queen was killed, then they would have just shown that, but because they made it a cliffhanger, they're like, no, that's not what's going to happen. Zazie's going to die, and then Barbara and the other guy are going to die, and they're all just going to get screwed. I still have no idea where Emma is in all this. I mean, I'm assuming she's nearby. It might be the case the queen ends up eating her when she shows up, Not all of her, just an arm or a finger or something to regenerate, and that's how she ends up winning the fight or something. I'm honestly not sure. I mean, the queen did that, instant teleportation move, which, again, I don't think she can do because she's just too weak and the poison's already affecting her, so really not sure what else she could pull out at this point. Maybe sort of, maybe eating her own flesh would work. And I saw something like that in Tokyo Ghoul, where he literally ate himself to activate his powers, so it could be the case for her where she can take a few bites out of her arm, and that gives her a little boost enough to take out Zazie and Barbara. Meanwhile, Ray's group, best guess is they're going to try and use Musica's blood to turn them back into civilized demons. I mean, the queen didn't go feral completely, even though she probably got a few good doses of the poison there. They said it was covering Zazie's sword, and he got a few hits on her, so it's definitely in full effect on her as much as it can work. So for the others, if they do get taste of the royal blood woman, maybe they inject with it somehow, some way, they'll go back to being just weaker level demons who are okay. Honestly, not sure. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Is the queen dead, and how the hell are they going to handle all these feral demons in the capital? Be sure to subscribe. Till next time.
Peace.